Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Cashew Chicken. That's right, another installment in our long-running series, Chef John Makes Fake Asian Food. And while this is not going to be very similar to the cashew chicken you find at your finer Chinese restaurants, and much closer to something you'd see at the mall food court, it's still a fantastic way to use up some leftover grilled chicken breast. And with grilling season coming up, you're going to have some leftover chicken breast on hand at one point or another, and this simple dish is a great way to use it up. So here we go. Step one, you're going to want to cook too much chicken at some point. So this is me after that. And then we're going to cut that up in like 1-inch pieces. Since this is already cooked, we want the pieces pretty small so they heat through quick. And of course, this will work with any kind of chicken, but leftover grilled chicken has that little bit of smokiness that really adds something special to this. So we're going to cut that up. And at that point, I'm going to give it a dusting of salt and pepper. The outside was seasoned when we grilled it, but now that we've exposed all that extra surface area, I'm going to season it up a little bit before it hits the pan. Okay, so our chicken's prepped and it's on to the sauce. So in a bowl, you're going to add some corn starch along with some cold water, a little bit of ketchup, a little bit of rice vinegar, that's seasoned rice vinegar, some hot chili sauce, and some brown sugar. I'm going to give that a little stir for no apparent reason because there's more going in this. For example, some soy sauce, followed by more gratuitous stirring. And then I'm also going to squeeze in the juice of 1 lemon, and that extremely simple sauce is pretty much done. And then we're going to take our whisk and whisk this very thoroughly. We want to make sure all that cornstarch is dissolved, which reminds me, before you add this to the pan, make sure you give it a stir because the cornstarch will settle again. So give it a thorough whisking, and we're going to set that aside. So our chicken's ready, our sauce is ready. Finally, we can go over to the stove and start cooking. So I'm going to put a heavy skillet on medium-high heat. I'm going to put in a nice splash of vegetable oil. And as soon as it gets hot, I'm going to throw in 1 sliced red chili. All right, any hot pepper will work. And some nice thin slices of ginger root. And I didn't even peel it. I just sliced it thin across the grain. And I'm going to sizzle that ginger and pepper in that oil for about 2 minutes. It's going to infuse it with a beautiful flavor. And at that point, we're going to add the cashews. So I'm going to dump in a handful of cashews. Oops, shoot. That silica package fell in. Now you know I didn't grow my own cashews. How embarrassing. Okay, so I will admit I'm using canned, dry-roasted cashews. I'm also going to throw in some sliced garlic. If you want to mince it or crush it, go ahead, but I kind of like the larger slices for this. So I sliced up a couple cloves. All right, we don't want to brown the garlic. We just want to get a little bit of toastiness on those nuts and just continue infusing that oil with flavor. So I just stir-fried that for a couple minutes. And at that point, you're going to add your chicken. And just give it a quick toss in that flavorful oil. Stir it around maybe 30 seconds. Again, this is a very quick dish, very quick recipe. So when you feel like that chicken has been totally coated in that oil and it's glistening at you quite seductively, I want you to turn the heat down to medium-low and pour in the sauce. And as you know, with any cornstarch-based sauce, it's going to thicken up almost instantly. So keep stirring, and then you're going to check for thickness. And as you're going to see, I had to add a little bit of water. You could also use stock to thin it out. So once it initially thickens up, take a look. And if you have to thin it out with a splash of water or stock, go for it. No problem. By the way, I will adjust the amount of water on the written ingredients on the blog. So you probably won't have to do this. But obviously you're going to observe and adjust. And once you've adjusted the liquid levels, just continue simmering on medium-low until the chicken's heated through, which is only going to take like 2 minutes because we cut it nice and small. Of course, you're going to taste and adjust for seasoning. It might need a little salt or a little splash of soy. You might want it a little hotter. And then for the final touch, I like to throw in a nice handful of freshly chopped cilantro leaves. Really brightens it up. If you don't like it, don't put it. You could also use some green onions here. That would be beautiful. And once that's stirred in, you're ready to serve. And that was a beautiful dinner. Those subtly smoky pieces of chicken breast and that very simple yet delicious sweet and sour sauce, those rich sweet cashews. And you know how the TV chef sometimes will say a sauce is very complex and has multiple layers of flavor? This is not that sauce. This is the opposite, but that's totally fine. That's the trade-off. This is just a quick 15-minute recipe to use up some leftover chicken. We're not expecting complexity. This is not something you serve to your Asian foodie fanatic friends. They will just bust your dumplings because it's not authentic. But we never said it was authentic. We're just trying to use up some chicken. And we did so in a very delicious way. So I really hope you give that a try. Head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amounts and more info as usual. And as always, enjoy.